Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show. I'm Dan Page, voice of the Threshers, and alongside Dalen Markham, the interim head football coach at Bethel College. Bethel College 2-0 going into their third game of the season with wins over Sterling and most recently at home a 33-17 victory over the St. Mary Spires. And Ottawa looming this week for a, I don't know if revenge football game is the right word, but we can talk about that in a bit compared to last season and things like that. But, Coach, 33-17, it was, they scored a little bit late. You had a bunch of subs in there the last part of the game. But overall, what did you think of the team's performance?
I think it was good. It was a good game overall. We had the fourth quarter just full of penalties on both sides, so we got to clean it up this upcoming week. But overall, I think it was good for both sides to come out. We kind of got battle tested in the first half. Defense, we had some turnovers on the offensive side, and we got short fields a couple of times, and we were able to hold them and force some turnovers ourselves. So it was good to see that from the defensive side. And the offensive side, it's just always good to see Toriano and the running backs just running downhill, running people over. So just love that. Hopefully next week can open the passing gap up a little bit. So they've been looking good in practice, so we'll see.
Definitely. Toriano Richardson now to 8th in the country in the NAIA level, leading the conference in rushing for an individual. So that is pretty awesome stat. I mean, we've had a lot of rushing in this program over the years, but he's up to 283 on the season and averaging over 140 per contest for the Threshers. And meanwhile, your team rushed the ball for 223 yards on 49 carries. Much better in the second half, I feel like, than in the first half. First half was just kind of ugly both ways, if I think about it, when you think about it, but everything. But you guys ended up throwing for 104 on 10 completions in the contest as well. But still, we were just talking about this off the air for a second. Second to last in the division in points scored, so we got to figure something out there.
Yeah, that'll get better over the season, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. So, putting up 33 in week 2. I mean, all that matters is you get in the win column a lot of the times, and there's been ugly games and things like that. And it's kind of funny because at halftime of this past game, I was texting Jared Mockabee, assistant athletic director for communications. I was like, is the stats actually working? Because this, I want to make sure this is right. Yeah. Both teams, less than 100 yards, it seemed like, overall on offense. So a lot of defense. Your defense showed up very well from the get-go and really brought a lot of contact. And it was really impressive there. And then just some interesting things. You guys get the ball to start the game. You go right down the field. Cade Mason makes a big play for you guys, and then you get the ball at the one like 4 or 5 different times.
Yeah, for real.
That's an exaggeration. But then you push into the end zone, and DJ gets that rushing touchdown. And the PAT, I still can't believe.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What's going on with that? But I guess it had to happen. But Mateo De Hoyo's PAT was blocked, and you guys were able to get to it, and Connor Carey, a.k.a. Butters, was able to run it in for you guys for the 2-point conversion. And I always forget what has to happen specifically for you to advance a blocked kick.
I think it can't cross the line of scrimmage, so I guess it didn't cross the line of scrimmage, and so you can take it in.
Okay.
Scoop and score, I guess, yeah.
Who would have thought it? Yeah, I mean, I've seen that happen before. Believe it or not, I was calling a JUCO game back, 17 years ago, so that tells you a long time. It was the national championship between Butler and Snow, and Butler won on a field goal attempt that that did the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was a touchdown at the end of the game. So in overtime, actually, double overtime.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it's been a while since I've seen one of those things. So you learned a lot about this football game about that. But you guys go up 8-0 early, and then you ended up scoring again, going down the field and going for 2 because of a penalty. And DJ took it in, and you guys were up 16-0, which is was a pretty good start to things.
Yeah.
And defense was playing very well, and then for some reason, I don't know what it was. If you can tell me if guys were getting complacent or not, but you commit 3 turnovers, interception, fumble, interception, or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the exact order. I remember
it was a pick 6. They gave up the first touchdown on the season we gave up, so it was a pick 6. So
yeah,
crazy. But yeah, just mistakes, just not being fully locked in, just dumb mistake that we shouldn't make. So we got to be better next week.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams have seen you guys throw laterally, and I'm sure they're prepared either way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of in there for a reason and everything. But nonetheless, you guys had the lead at halftime, and then St. Mary able to score 17 points in the game. You guys tack on a couple more scores in the contest, and a significant game for a few different players for you guys. On defense, it was Tate Siebel with 11 tackles and 1 sack. He just played really well for you guys. Just Noah Miller as well. I mean, and not to mention the interceptions you guys had, in the secondary at the same time. So, it was kind of interesting how that all went down. But, yeah, I mean, a good performance for you guys through and through, and it was kind of interesting that last touchdown for you guys that Levi Christie scored. I never guessed that was going to happen in a million years.
Yeah, me either. He surprised all of us with his separation speed. We were all surprised. So then we all made fun of Toriano because Levi made him look slow. So yeah, Levi's going to be a good one for us.
Yeah, I mean, it was really impressive, and I mean, just when everybody thought the game was over, and maybe St. Mary was thinking the same thing. He just turned on the Jets and took it in, and really significant play for you guys. So you guys end up with the 33-17 victory on the day, and I was trying to get all the individual numbers pulled up for you. DJ Sears, 10 completions for 104 yards, including a 44-yarder that he found Josiah Buller for. That was a huge catch.
Yeah.
He just really, really awesome, man. Josiah's really stepped up the first 2 games of the year for you guys.
Yeah, he's been good, man. He gets better every day in practice and stuff, so I'm not surprised when he goes there and make plays, so.
And then in the slot, Corey Catron doing well for you. 2 catches for 23 yards. We already mentioned Cade Mason. James Menard gets a catch. Kenyon McMillan, Cody Baxter. I mean, all these guys get involved in the passing game. But no, you guys have yet to pass for a touchdown this year,
it's
surprisingly.
It's coming. Trust me, it's coming. I make fun of Denton all the time, so it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely something people may respect or not. We'll see.
Yeah.
But Toriano Richardson, 25 carries for 140 yards, averaging about 6 yards a carry, and Levi Christie net yardage was 3 carries for 43 yards, but had a 46-yard touchdown run. DJ Sears, 11 carries for 21 net yardage and 2 rushing touchdowns. And Torrey Curry, a little quiet game, just 6 carries for about 10 yards in the ball game. And I mentioned defensively, Tate, Robin Neely with 5 tackles, Josh Steers with 5 tackles, and then Robin also with an interception. You had 3 guys with an interception according to this. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, we had Robin, Roderick, and then Avery Richardson, his first career interception for us. So.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They gave it to Jarek Woodley in the stat sheet. So
I don't know. He's at the end, so I don't know about that one.
Robin, oh man, on his return, he just got cleaned by that O lineman.
Yeah, he's still feeling it today. So
I thought they were going to call like a targeting penalty on it because I mean I didn't really see the collision, but it just kind of happened, bang bang. But yeah, I mean
he's still complaining about it to this day. He always says they don't block. He's trying to score a touchdown, but he don't follow his blockers. But that goes.
I mean, it's really hard to do that, return it, based on where he caught the football and the interception and take it all the way to the other side of the field.
It was a great return. He broke a couple tackles, so I thought he had it, but he didn't have that breakaway speed he thought he had.
Ended up with a 31-yard return, and then Mateo De Hoyos kicks a 28-yard field goal. It was up and good, and a good first field goal made in at home on turf, which is the important thing for him. I feel like had some great punts for you guys. I mean, 2 inside the 20 here, but an average of about 37 yards on 5 punts and a longer one of 45. So he did very well, because we both know ball position is so important in this game.
Yep. He does a good job of flipping the field for us, so we love him for that.
But nonetheless, the Threshers get the victory 33-17 over St. Mary in their second game of the season, and the program starts 2-0 for the 19, 20, 21, 22, like 5th year in a row, basically.
Yeah.
5th or 6th year in a row. I can't remember what
Something
it is.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So every year since 2019, the program has started 2-0.
Dang.
The one exception that the program started 3-0 so far was Kansas Wesleyan loss a few years back in week 3.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how that one went. I think that was 2-3 seasons ago now. Nonetheless, that's the score this week. Let's go to the other scores. Southwestern and Avila playing, and Southwestern won 40-21. And that one over the Eagles, kind of interesting. Avila getting up 21 points there. Game that was early, like 11 a.m. I'm surprised Bethany played that early. I thought it was a mistake when I first saw that, because you never know these days. But Kansas Wesleyan wins at Bethany 54-16 in Lindsborg. And then games that were decided a little bit before your game this past week. Friends winning 38-7 at home over Ottawa. And Evangel and Tabor went down to the wire. It was 5 field goals from the Evangel kicker or something like that. Yeah, that he made, and it was really impressive. It was like 12-10 or something like that at halftime. And it was anybody's game there, but Evangel pulls away late for the 16-point victory by the same tally as you guys, 33-17. And then right before your game finished, McPherson won 42-30 at home against Sterling. So I actually had to tune into the network. Started streaming on my phone because there was no game update anywhere.
Oh, really?
On no live stats or anything. So you never know what you get with NAIA.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But that kind of paints the scene for the standings, quote unquote, as Southwestern 2-0 on the year, Avila 1-1, Kansas Wesleyan 1-1, Bethany 0-2, you guys 2-0, St. Mary 0-2, McPherson 1-1, Sterling 0-2, Friends 2-0, Ottawa 0-2, and Evangel 2-0, Tabor 1-1. And, of course, Ottawa will be looking for their first victory when they play at home against the Threshers this week. It is actually an afternoon kick, 1 p.m. You don't usually get those this early in the year. Ottawa hosting the Threshers this week from Ottawa. And if you can't make it to Ottawa, you can watch it on the KCAC network. So that kind of wraps up the second week of play in the conference. And everybody's underway across the board in the NAIA ranks. It was officially week 1 of the NAIA college football season. So that was something that we were looking at some other scores and things like that to see. I kind of miss the ability to play a non-conference game.
Yeah, me too.
In this, because we had some good ones over the years. Minus playing one at the very end of the season against a D2 squad. But I remember Texas College, that was back in 2019. Who would have known Atlantis didn't technically count?
Yeah, for real.
But, it was always interesting because you never know what matchup you're going to get, and it's just kind of purely dependent on scheduling and things like that. So. But, that was always something I looked forward to do because, it's nice to go outside of your maybe travel to like Texas or somewhere like that and play a college football game versus play the same old KCAC schools year in and year out. And
that would be fun to just travel, get out of the conference a little bit, and just see how it faces against other teams. So
but nonetheless, the structure of it, you played non-division the first half of the season, then a bye week, then your division play. So anything can happen along that if you're new to the schedule for the KCAC. All right, so Coach, you got Ottawa this week. They were blanked 41-0 against Southwestern in their first game and scored just one touchdown against Friends and lost 38-7. We both know that you can't underestimate them.
Nope.
Whatsoever, because last year of how the game at home went against Ottawa Bethel, we arguably had it in the bag. And two things go wrong that you wouldn't expect
at all,
and it just completely swings the other way. And it really was the moment that for Ottawa last year that kind of ignited their season.
So hopefully, this year we'll handle business like we should have last year. So a lot of the players got a nasty taste in their mouth from that game. On film, you can see them like after they score the touchdown, you can see them like partying on our field and kind of play that image replays in my head over and over again. Still, I know that kind of sits. All the seniors talk about that this week in practice. So we're ready to go in there and have a dogfight and hopefully come out on top. So we're ready.
Yeah, that loss to Ottawa last year was the first time these guys, one of the fourth and fifth year guys that ever lost to Ottawa. So they don't take it lightly whatsoever.
So that kind of is a revenge game of some sort, just because we lost last year, in my opinion. So I guess you can call it a revenge game.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see what Ottawa brings to the table. Very young coach, and he definitely gets after things, and the way that they did the rest of the season last year after they played you guys, it just they ended up winning their division and going to the playoffs based on the current conference structure for that. And it was a very good year, because I remember talking to folks in their media before the game, and they were all down. They're like, you guys are going to trounce us, things like that. We don't know where this program is going under Coach Davis. That's what people were saying at the time. And after the game, I'm thinking, what are you talking about?
That's the great game of football. Anything can happen. So this year, man, they got same players. They got a lot of new players. They got a transfer running back from Emporia. He's pretty good. They got a couple good receivers. So they have a couple of preseason members on their team, offense and defense. I think last year they had their All-American linebacker, I think, AJ, whatever his name is. He returning. So they have some players over there, good coaches. So and don't know what to expect, really. Just got to come out and play to their full ability.
Yeah, thinking about last year's game, they played really well defensively against the Bethel offense, and that's something they try to take precedence for. I mentioned this last year that they believe they have the spread defense, the antidote to the spread offense of their own to kind of go after things. And they had a pretty good game playing with you guys. You guys turned the ball over. That was the biggest unfortunate thing in the first half that really kept Ottawa in the game and kept kept the bait on the hook, so to speak. But it was kind of interesting just to see that. Honestly, everybody reacted, no matter if you were a player or a coach or a fan or whatever. You just felt like you had your heart ripped out by the end of that one.
Oh yeah, that was heartbreaker last year for sure.
Yeah, but talk about their defense. They do a lot of good things.
Yeah, they do. They do a lot of after pre-snap movement, kind of throw off the O-line, throw off the quarterback with their little stem and stuff, and then they're good in space. So like they said, they got the spread defense, whatever you want to call it, but they're good. They're good in open field. They have good coverages. They make good checks and stuff. So they really just get lined up to whatever you do in offense, try to take your favorite thing and do it away.
From my memory, they did a lot of last-second, movements to kind of throw you guys off of what you were trying to do. As far as like offensively, blocking or whatever. If you don't know, if that aspect of the game kind of confuses you, it's really hard to get going.
So they do a lot of like late shifts, like the D-line will shift to the left or right, whatever pre-snap, and kind of throw off their O-line's count, I guess you can call it, and make it simple kind of for everybody. So they do stuff like that just to throw the O-line and quarterback off, and then mess the read key up sometimes. So just do a little funky stuff that we've been preparing for all week. So I think we should deal with it better this time.
Definitely. I mean, it's been some good games against Ottawa over the years for Bethel football. I mean, arguably last year was the first close one, so to speak, since 2019, where Bethel won on a blocked extra point, I believe, in overtime. I can't remember if it was one overtime or two, but I was there for it and in the end zone and everything back in that season. And talk about a huge moment. It was at Ottawa. So a lot of people that are still linked to your program remember that.
Yeah.
Coach Grant Godsey, that was a breakout game for him as a player.
Really?
In the secondary. He got thrown in there, and he just, did his job very well, and back when he was a freshman.
Oh, dang. Yeah,
yeah, so it's a little bit old. But, I mean, you go into an environment like that, I mean, it's interesting. But it'll be interesting to see what the Threshers and the Braves of Ottawa do this week. Ottawa looking for their first win of the season against potentially the Threshers. We'll find out. I mean, you guys have that extra incentive for sure this week.
Yep.
Looking at the other games in the conference this week, there's another 1 o'clock kick. It's from Kansas City as Friends goes to Avila, and the Eagles are looking for their second win. Friends looking to stay in the national polls as a undefeated football team. They are currently behind Evangel in the national polls, but two other teams are, I believe, receiving votes, Southwestern and perhaps Kansas Wesleyan in the conference. So that's always good when this program knows very well about having multiple teams up there with a chance to make postseason.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't go the right way for a couple of years. But nonetheless, Friends goes to Avila, and then the rest are 6 o'clock kicks outside of the Threshers at Ottawa at 1 o'clock. And those games are Tabor hosting Bethany. Tabor looking to get a victory against Bethany, who has yet to win this year. Tabor's, they proved that they're a tough team.
Yeah.
They're physical. They can hang with among the best. So I feel like they have, when the Bissell division starts playing, I think they're going to be a very dangerous team.
Yeah.
When in the second half of the season, as they host Bethany at 6 o'clock from Hillsboro this week. Kansas Wesleyan hosts Southwestern, so that'll be a huge game.
It'll be a big game for sure.
And it is in Salina for an evening kick. And the Mound Builders and the Coyotes. The Coyotes 1-1 on the year, but back at home trying to get their first home win of the season after losing their season opener to Evangel by 11 and then winning on the road at Bethany. Southwestern coming in 2-0, looking to make a statement in Salina. St. Mary hosting McPherson. Spire still looking for their first victory. McPherson fresh off a 12-point victory over Sterling. And rounding out the conference night, Sterling hosting Evangel, a huge challenge for Sterling to play an Evangel team that, I mean, we were talking about it before last week's game. It's like every game is like a 6-hour drive, I feel like, for them, and they're just so used to it. So when everybody else comes to them, they're kind of having the advantage there, so to speak. But that'll be interesting to see if the Warriors can figure some things out after starting the year 0-2 as they host Evangel this week. Well, Coach, I know you may not get a chance to look at the conference a lot. I mean, our division and the Kessinger division, I mean, Evangel 2-0, Friends 2-0, Southwestern 2-0, you guys 2-0. McPherson 1-1, Bethany 0-2. I mean, it's kind of going a little bit similar to the way it started last year.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a lot of the good teams on our side. They're like the top tier teams, I feel like. So we're just ready for division play to start to see where we line up with those guys, the big boys, I like to call them.
Yeah, it's always been the talking point since the divisions were announced initially, of perhaps maybe one being heavier loaded than the other, so to speak. I mean, you had a team that you guys finished 6-5 in the regular season. So did Ottawa. Ottawa goes to the playoffs because they won their division. And then there was Friends and Evangel ahead of Bethel in the Kessinger division.
Yeah.
And, Friends had 9 wins. So
yes.
that was the crazy thing.
Yeah, it is crazy. But when we lost to Bissell, I guess, team.
Those teams Tabor and Ottawa.
Lost Tabor and Ottawa. So, man, there's still good teams over there. Can't take any of them for granted. So, you got to come out week by week and get better.
Yeah, certainly do. And Kansas Wesleyan, for that matter, while it's on my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
So, that'll be interesting. That'll be tough. So, the next 3 weeks, 2 of them on the road at Ottawa, and then back at home against Tabor, and then at Kansas Wesleyan, if my memory serves me correctly.
We play Avila next week.
Avila, that's right.
It's Avila, K-Dub, and then Tabor at home for Fall Fest.
There you go. So Fall Fest will be here before you know it, and it's a big deal at Bethel College. If you've never been, it is on Saturday, October 5th. Tabor at Bethel. The last time Bethel hosted Tabor for Fall Fest, went right down to the wire, and a fumble late cost the Threshers the game.
Oh,
so
I heard about that game.
Yeah, it was a while ago, to say the least. But I mean, we've got some time until then. Of course, like you mentioned, Coach, at Ottawa this week, and then home against Avila, and then on the road at Kansas Wesleyan before hosting Tabor for the first half of the season. So I guess, for the first 2 games, obviously the things that have really impressed people is defense, but you can always get better. You can always plug in guys. You talked about guys in the secondary like Avery Richardson working his way in. I'm thinking about guys like Caleb Roper, and then kind of looking on the D line a little bit, getting some new faces in there. You're really just giving them opportunities. I guess who are some of those guys that you've started naturally kind of rotating into the defense to kind of get good looks?
So secondary wise, we've got Avery Richardson. He's a free safety for us. He's a sophomore. He played a lot last game, and then because Robin got hurt a little bit, so we got him. Caleb Roper rotates a lot with the strong safety. We got Kevin Hill. He's one of our other safeties. He rotates in with the Josh Santos, the starting Gator. And then corner-wise, kind of Cedric or Trey, whatever. He has like 3 different names on the team. Trey August, we'll go with that one. He plays a little corner, slot corner for us. And then on D-line, we got a couple freshmen, Travail. We got Olin Brown. He's just converted like 2 weeks ago from tight end. So he's been looking good in practice the past couple weeks. Him. And then linebacker, we got a lot. James Goff rotates in a lot. We got Connor Carey. Damon LaVille will come back this week, hopefully, and come back and make some plays for us. So we got a lot of guys we can rotate in, just kind of keep everybody fresh and going in and go full speed. So kind of we don't like to rotate a lot, just keep guys fresh because I know they play a lot when it's hot too. So kind of gotta keep them fresh and rotate a little bit so everybody get some reps.
Talking about rotating, I saw Frank Driscoll playing kind of a nose there for a while against St. Mary. That was a little bit of an unusual look for your D line there.
Yeah. That was a little special package on 3rd and long. He's one of our better pass rushers, so we gotta do some different stuff with him in the nose and bring some younger guys on the end. I forgot about Mark Lumpkin as a freshman as well. He plays D end for us. So just got a lot of younger guys kind of earn their keep a little bit, trying to get them in some game reps.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed. When you guys, it was almost like hockey there for a second, making a line change there with different packages and things like that. I think it's easy to see a lot of times, but guys just really didn't skip a beat once they came into the game, and that's always encouraging.
Yeah.
But offensively, different guys coming in. Kenyon McMillan, we've got to really see his full potential in the slot position. I feel like he has a lot of good things, and then Brady Witherspoon, I feel like he's only scratching the surface of what he can do as well. So I'm just waiting for that one breakout.
Me too. We're all ready for him. Brady, Millie, Josiah's been doing good. We got Corey Ketron. We got a lot of guys on that side of the ball can do good things. Bobby below, he's a transfer, kind of getting over an ankle injury. We got him. We got James Bernard, the tennis all-star. Who else we got over there? Kind of Jimmy Martin, kind of learning another guy, kind of learning the offensively here and there, and then just got a lot of guys over there still. We kind of got another running back. He's been dealing with injuries, knee injury. Miles Carter, he's looking to come back next week. So we're just kind of trying to get healthy and kind of get the new guys implemented into the offense. Because just scratching the surface on that side for real.
Yeah, I know. There at the end of the game, talking about personnel, things like that. When Ben Schmidt goes in the game, I know he really wanted to throw the football deep at least once.
Yeah, I'm surprised didn't let him throw it just because. But
well, there was one. I just think I think the receiver when he weren't on the same page.
Yeah, that did happen.
So yeah. So, but that's all I'll say. And of course, Levi scoring for your out of the backfield for you guys, and then up front, it's always interesting to see who kind of rotates in on the O line for you guys, because I mean you have some guys like Merrick stepping in on the O line this year, kind of getting that opportunity, and Jess at tackle as well. Otherwise, I mean Ben and Kanan and Logan, they kind of been in it for a while now, but always interesting to see what can should one of those guys go down, who can step in and be that guy that can keep things going.
Yeah, so we got a freshman, Caleb Montgomery. He plays both tackles for us. Kind of chipper. He kind of plays D-line more now, but he can go both ways for us. So we got him. We got guys like Adrian Martinez. He plays with both of the guards. We got, who else is there up there? I'll be forgetting. Camden Miller just moved from D-line. So just kind of guys like that, kind of like younger guys that can kind of take the next step. We're still waiting on that a little bit, but we got kind of older guys like Quincy McGuffey. His ankle's been hurting for like 3 weeks now. Johnny Martinez. They're all fighting and kind of getting that next man up role.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys do put-ups after every game, but I would say I would just ask you for one, based on practice this week, who do you feel like is giving you guys the best effort, maybe the best look for your team this week?
This week in practice, I would gotta say, that's always tough. I'll go one offense, one defense. For offense, I'll just go defense. I feel like the linebacker core is always good. Noah, James Goff, Tacey Bolt, those guys we can always count on. They're giving energy, flying around, making plays. And the offensive side, it's always tough because I'll be like Kai Norris today, just based off today. He finally got eligible for the Planning Ice Center, so this will be his first week playing. Man, he's one of those guys on the outside that can come in and just make a catch you wouldn't expect him to make. So today he made a couple, like 3 catches in a row, just fade balls, just throwing it up to him on our corner. So shout out to Kai for that. So we're just kind of one of the things we're missing a little bit, just not really missing, just kind of giving him the opportunity to catch a fade ball. So with him coming back, and him and Brady and Josiah will probably have some more passing yards.
Sure. Yeah, the one thing I always really like about your program, and something that you definitely encouraged really well this year, is just competing against each other, competing about a lot of different things, even if it was the smallest thing, whether it's offense versus defense, who's, going out there and just like, having fun at the same time.
Exactly. So, big on that for sure. Gotta compete, gotta have fun, but when it's time to work, you gotta put in the work.
You're quite right, Coach. Well, any final thoughts before we go into this week's game against Ottawa?
I got to fact check this, but I got word that DJ has tied the all-time rushing touchdown record at Bethel. I got to fact check it, but I did hear that. So hopefully this week he breaks the record. Yeah,
there for a while. It's a little history on that. Zach Esau broke it in either the 2020, I think it's the 2020 season that he did it, and then Chance Scurry broke his record based on using that 5th-year eligibility, and back in the 2022 season, I believe, either 21 or 22, I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been 21 actually. But Chance came back for 22 as well. So, but and then that'd be interesting to really break down and see. I have all the stats with me on my stat sheet that I keep before the games of career stats for guys, and DJ is a guy that it's just been unbelievable for you guys. The highlight reel when his season is over about his time in Bethel will be one of the best ever. I was going to tell you, St. Mary. I was talking to one of their coaches ahead of the game, getting them set, making sure they can get into their press box area and everything. And we talked for a while, and he's like, we always just called DJ the KCAC Lamar Jackson.
We heard that a lot. I think his dad quoted that tweeted that one time on Twitter, and everybody makes fun of him, calls him baby Lamar all the time. So it's funny. It's a fair comparison. I can't lie. He does some Lamar-esque plays every once in a while.
Well, if he would like a challenge, I'd challenge him maybe to run a little bit more this week.
I agree.
We want to see that electric DJ.
Yeah.
I know he's got some stuff that he's fighting through and stuff like that. But man, that was always fun to see him.
We're waiting on
cut
that
loose.
too. We're waiting on that.
Certainly. So he knows I mean that in pure love and joy for him.
Definitely, I make fun of him all the time. He gets a lot from me. So.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our program this week. Hey, thank you to everybody that watches. We do this for the parents and the families and everyone linked, the alumni of Bethel College. And this is just helping us making, this more special experience on and off the field for everyone involved at Bethel College and in the athletic program. So for Coach Dale and Markham, I'm Dan Page for a final time this week telling you to roll on.